the entire circumference of Titan in a space of perhaps 6 months.
You shouldn't think of Titan as a place just for robots. With a thick protective atmosphere and plenty of frozen water, Titan could be a more user-friendly destination for Earthlings than Mars.
When humans do finally move out into the solar system, and I think they will, Titan will be seen as a somewhat distant but very attractive place to go play. You don't need a pressure suit on Titan. You don't have that feeling, as the astronauts describe it, of trying to work with a beach ball between your arms.
Breathing from a souped-up scuba unit and outfitted in a cross between a super ski suit and a hazmat coverall, future Titanauts could explore with confidence.
You just need that thermal protection and oxygen, and then you can go play on the surface and take a balloon ride. It'll be a place where people will want to go to see a truly exotic and alien world.
Not even a minor rip in the suit will be life-threatening.
I did a calculation once of whether the small amounts of carbon monoxide in Titan's atmosphere would kill you before the hydrogen cyanide did. Actually, it turns out both are probably only enough to give you a headache, but the place would probably smell like an oil refinery.
Speaking of refineries, refueling for the return trip could be as simple as pulling up to the nearest lake to fill up your methane rocket, now under test development on Earth. And if you reach as far as Titan, why not a side trip to Enceladus as well?
On Enceladus, we are many steps ahead of where we are in terms of Mars or Europa. We already know that there's organics. We already know where they are. We already know how to get them. It's time to bring them back to Earth and look at them and ask the next level of questions. Are they biological?
It may not happen for a very long time, but I really think that's a must-do for us in taking the next step. And to me, the question of whether or not life has gotten started elsewhere in the solar system is the reason why we do this. You know, because we want, finally, ultimately, we want to come to understand why the Earth has been the successful abode of life that it has become.
Moving now into the extended mission. The Cassini team met recently in London to take stock of where they'd been and to plan the road ahead. It was the 58th time they'd met, and fitting that they chose the Royal Observatory in Greenwich to celebrate. The prime meridian here is the longitude, the mark on the ground, from which all great voyages are measured. This is the view back to our remarkable home planet that the first human out here can look forward to. A distant blue dot lost in the beauty of Saturn's backlit rings. It's a real image, another perfect postcard from Cassini, urging us into the heavens.
Humans have looked out from the shores of seas and oceans and imagined great adventures. Now think about standing on the shore of an alien sea, and we know those shores are there. We just have to go experience it, and that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to go land in a balloon, step out, pick up one of those rounded pebbles, and toss it at Huygens.
I've proposed that maybe we have to talk about a planetary park down the road, and where should we preserve for future generations? You know, do we want to go in and mine Titan for its methane? Maybe we'll go mess up other places, perhaps, but Saturn is just an exquisite place, and we should probably leave that alone.
With so many interesting moons in its flight path, NASA is making plans for what to do when Cassini's mission comes to an end, around 2017.
We want to make sure that the spacecraft doesn't hit one of these bodies, and so what we're going to do is put it into the atmosphere of Saturn.
Crash it into Saturn and burn it in a blaze of glory after a rich 20 years of exploration in space.
All the molecules that currently make up the Cassini spacecraft would still be at Saturn, and in fact will be there forever.
A fitting, fiery funeral for one of the greatest interplanetary voyagers of all time. It might be a ball of gas and float in water, but Saturn is a very solid destination, both for science and for viewing spectacular sights. We've only begun to realize the riches it offers, and only because we sent a spacecraft to stay. It's the same story everywhere in the solar system. You'll never know what you're missing if you never go.